Manchester City made it 3 finals in a row, 2 after cruising past Forest at Wembley. And their indifferent season, which has seen them exit the title race in December, failed to reach the last 16 in the Champions League and the League Cup. Could still have a happy ending, of course it could. So let's get the thoughts of a man who no doubt will have mixed emotions yesterday, and I've got it in very, very good authority that he's going to equal Paula's motivation and just desire and joy to be alive this morning. It's Stuart Pearce. Piercey, good morning.
I physically cannot even hold a candle to Pauline this morning. Unbelievable. Morning, gentlemen.
How are you, mate? Listen, Pierce, I was at the game yesterday. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I got to say, I thought the Forest fans were quite magnificent. Absolutely magnificent. I thought they got outplayed, totally outplayed, and kind of outthought in the first half. City, Pep got it absolutely spot on. Come into it a little bit second half, but they really needed one of those shots again off the post. They're a little bit unlucky in that respect.
Yeah, without a doubt. I think the early goal rocked their confidence in the team. I really did. City, in the engine room, I thought Bernardo Silva and Kovacic just bossed the game from, most of the game, not just the first half. Their know-how, their understanding, the pair of them were outstanding, I thought. And to be fair, I think when the dust settles with Forest this morning, they'll have a few regrets. Maybe Elanga not starting the game. Mm-hmm. I even looked at the formation slightly and, for too much of the game, I thought Anderson was playing on the left-hand side. Gibbs-White was asked to track back on the right-hand side, not their favoured positions. Yeah. And maybe too many regrets. They didn't come and deliver the performance we've seen in the Premier League. But you can't take it away from Manchester City. Write them off at your peril, but they delivered a performance that was good enough to win the game.
Yeah, Stuart. Do you think it was more that Forest went over a little bit too much respect? Try to tweak. We know how good City have been. I think that's the 30th time now they're going to be at Wembley since 2011. So we know what they bring there. Me personally, having lost 6-0 in the final there, I know exactly how that feels.
Yeah, I would say it's a fair point, Troy. I think, that early goal really shocked their confidence. I saw Forest play down at Brighton in the previous round and they left Hudson-Odoi and Elanga out and then they threw them on in the second half and they got over the line eventually and improved them. But I don't know whether that was Nuno's thought process, I'll throw Elanga on the second half. But I think by the second half, the pattern of the game had set itself and City were well in the ascendancy, even though when you look at the stats at the end of it, Forest had hit the woodwork 3 times in the second half. I don't think that showed the whole story of the game, but they still hit the woodwork 3 times and missed a gilt-edged chance just after the interval.
Where are we, Pearce, with Forest at this moment in time? I think I'm right in saying, I'm not got the fixtures in front of me. I think they've got Leicester at home, but I think they've also got to go to Palace maybe Monday night. Brentford Thursday.
Palace coming up is a big one. They've got to bounce back on the back of that, Ali. That's a really important game. And Brentford, as they've shown time and time again, are no easy touch these days, So it'll be a tough game. But from Forest's point of view, I think with the disappointment of yesterday, they've got to bounce back and win this one.
What about City? I've gone on record as saying, Pierce, I don't think I've seen a fall off a cliff from a major top team like it this season when they went those 12 games, whatever it is, and lost 8 or 9, might even have been 10. All in all, if they can get an FA Cup win and finish in Champions League football again, that's got to be acceptable, hasn't it?
I think more than acceptable. And what we've seen with our eye, they've looked very vulnerable defensively over the course of the season. I think that's changed a little bit as of probably the last month. I think I see them a little bit more solid now as a team, a bit more consistent. But I'll make you right there, Ali. I think the bottom line is if they end up getting silverware on the back of the season that they've had, I think it will be a major step this year.
Absolutely. You carry on, mate.
I was going to say, just added to that resoluteness that they've got, City, obviously the Nico O'Reilly coming in at left back and moving Guardiola in, adds that balance now, and you'll know it better, but with two left footers on there, it just gives them a balance that they haven't had for a few years.
Yeah, it certainly does. And the one thing it is as well, O'Reilly's been arguably their best player over the last month, 6 weeks. And I thought he was outstanding again yesterday, the way he played, So he's been a major plus. Whether it was luck or judgment, let's say it was judgment from Pep. He's too good a manager not to be. When he threw him on the pitch I think, was it
Was
Bournemouth
that
away or
Bournemouth?
something?
Yeah, I worked the game. Yeah, FA Cup.
Yeah, he changed the game, didn't he? He really changed the game, and since then he's just grown in confidence. He's got great stature as a young man on the pitch, and great arrogance on the pitch. So he's one for the future for sure.
Now here's an interesting one. I'm going to read it out. It's from Lee, a City fan. Ali, a shout out to all the fans that travelled down to Wembley yesterday. I was there, and bearing in mind the game didn't get any extra time, penalties, and getting on the road right after the game finished, we still didn't get back to the Northwest until 1 a.m. with travel chaos trying to get to London last night. Speaking to the Forest fans and the services last night, the whole travel situation ruined the spectacle for many. The FA have got to look at the scheduling of the semi-finals. Lee said he's had enough. He wouldn't get back again for the semi-final.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a point. He's got a massive point, hasn't he? I mean, if those fans coming down, not getting back at 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, and we'll also as well, they got work this morning as well, doesn't it? So it does play a part in that. A friend of mine messaged yesterday, 30 times Man City have been to Wembley since 2011. 30 times. That's a lot of money for people to go down.
Oh, I mean, we might as well say it. There was massive gaps in the City support at Wembley, and the Forest fans, you probably couldn't get a seat. But there's obvious reasons for that.
Exactly, and also it's expensive. It's that travel. It's also then how do you get back? I think we had a lady on here last Monday talking. It's potentially £190 on the train, and that wasn't even getting back. That only got you there. So there's a lot. And again, I know we were talking in the break, the hotels down here because of the London Marathon, because of the big boxing event.
Terrible.
You know, my mum's down here this weekend. It's £700 for the weekend, so it's frightening. That same hotel next weekend is less than 200.
It's terrible.
So it's a liberty, but again, City are the fans are getting accustomed to being at Wembley and accustomed to seeing them win. So I'm sure they'll fill out the ending, for the final, but. It's not a good look, and I would like the FA, if they're not going to do anything, give those kids free tickets to schools locally or some schools from Manchester.
100%. Where are you in the semi-finals been played at Wembley overall?
I'm a bit of a traditionalist, but obviously I played there but 3 of the times I got to play there were for semi-finals. So personally, I got to enjoy it, but I do think it would hold more value with it just having the final there. Especially now it's all paid off and there's no debt on it. But I grew up with Man United, Arsenal being at Aston Villa, Villa Park, where Giggsy scored that goal. So, I'd like to see that. What about yourself?
I'm with you, mate. I remember going back, it was Hillsborough, it was Villa Park, Highbury, places like that. And I enjoyed it. I just think, I'm not sure it devalues, I don't think it devalues it, but it takes away the actual thrill of the pinnacle being at Wembley, the whole final. Yeah. I think it just takes a little bit away from that for me. But one team, that haven't been there as often as their fans would like, but are certainly going back there. No, you can't. That's poor for you. You just can't stop.
Sorry, I thought we was talking about them. Sorry. It's just because Gabby was supposed to be on.
Oh, Gabby.
Didn't come on because they lost.
Gabby, you know what happened with Gabby? He'll come on the next time Villa win.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Well, I mean, you and I are a couple of guys that will turn up, win, lose or draw.
Absolutely.
We'll face some music.
Yeah, give a bit of stick, take a bit of stick.
That's what it's all about.
Not hide.
Gabby, man, come on.
Hide.
But I was actually, believe it or not, talking about Crystal Palace, who were fantastic at the weekend.
Yes.
3-0 dismantling of the aforementioned Aston Villa means they'll be playing Manchester City in the FA Cup final, which is on the 17th of May. It's Palace's third cup final in their history. And in the final word, phone in, Alan Pardew, a player in the 1990 and manager in 2016, spelled out just how special that performance was and that result was at the weekend.
It was probably one of, you'd have to put it in the top 5 greatest Crystal Palace displays. I wouldn't like to say it's number 1, but it's right up there. It was outstanding from the back to the front. The goalie was tremendous, the back three. The wing backs were flooding into the box, and on every occasion they could get. The 2 midfield players were diligent, and Walton in particular was outstanding. And then you had the front 3. I mean, it was a real, perfect tactical display and performance. And the fans topped that off with even perhaps a better performance. They were absolutely outstanding. And of course, it's third time lucky for Crystal Palace, hopefully, because I don't think we've had the greatest pieces of luck in the finals that we've played. And I really hope that this is the time that they do it. So we'll see. They've got tough opponents.
Or they've got tough opponents, all right, Alan. But yeah, interesting that from Alan. Top 5 Palace displays of all time. I mean, he would know. Certainly, absolutely would know. They've got a chance, Troy. I tell you right now, they've got a chance. I mean, and I know it would sound a bit crazy coming off a performance where I saw City beat Palace 5-2. But I think as excellent as City were second half, I would have to suggest the scoreline flattered them ever so slightly. We're looking at Palace. You and I were talking about them. Brilliant end to the season last year. Really poor start. I mean, I was looking forward to seeing this, and they started really poorly. Thankfully, stuck with the manager, which was great, and now they're reaping the benefits.
Yeah, and I think just to go back to the game you was at, I was obviously listening to that on the way to one of the other games I was travelling to. And while you're watching it and you're seeing, I remember you say it's about moments in games, isn't it? And that Eze goes just a little bit too early when he gets the third one.
Yes.
And obviously then that gives City that confidence of, okay, we need to do something and stop this flow here. Otherwise, if they would have scored that third, you would have argued they got 4 or 5 in that first half. And then, as we said earlier, the manager turning around saying he got it wrong, bringing Mateta off, which is right on the day. I just think they're not going to be scared. And you know the way that they attack, they go so quick. I also think it'll play into City's hands to feel that they can go and attack as well. So for the first time in a long time, we're going to have an FA Cup final where both teams will go into it thinking that they can win, and it should make for a really entertaining spectacle.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.